Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some cost-benefit analysis. So just a little bit of background. It's not just cost-benefit analysis. There are three types of analyses that we're going to be talking about over the next couple weeks. Today, cost-benefit. Then next week, cost-effectiveness analysis and cost-utility analysis. So just know that these are three different tools that we can use to evaluate programs, projects, ideas that we'd like to implement. We can use each one on its own, or we can use all three in concert. First, our cost-benefit analysis, which we'll focus on today. We know that our actions, our programs, our projects, our interventions make some people better off and might make other people worse off. So how do we account for that? How do we predict that? And what proportions are we looking for? So our cost-benefit analyses measure benefits and they measure costs. And we take these benefits, we take these costs, we monetize them. So our cost-benefit analysis is all in money terms. Comparatively, cost-effectiveness analyses differ from cost-benefit analyses because our cost-effectiveness analysis is going to be applied to issues, programs where our goal is accepted. We are going to do this thing. It is going to happen. We'll talk about cardiac arrest, arrest saves, ROSC rates, cardiac arrest protocols. So we're going to do that. We are going to treat cardiac arrest patients, and hopefully we are going to resuscitate them so the goal is accepted. So what is the most efficient way to achieve it from a financial standpoint? And then we have a cost utility analysis. This is just a special subset of cost effectiveness analyses, and we're bringing in individual preferences of health states. So we can do something for someone, and we can apply this not only to healthcare, but any arena, even gift giving during the holiday season. People have individual preferences, and how do they rank those preferences? And then we're pulling in utility measurements, utility being a measure of well-being, a measure of happiness. So cost utility analysis, just an offshoot of cost effectiveness analysis, where we take into account individual preferences. But today we're going to focus on cost benefit analysis, just that monetary cost versus benefits, and our anticipated program. Where do we come out? So there are a few steps we're going to follow from start to finish. So we've got our program in mind. Our first step is to identify alternatives to our project, to our program. The alternative might be just what we're doing now. So the alternative might be a null, and it's just status quo. It's what we're doing now, but our alternative might be a rival project or a rival program. Second step, we're going to decide whose benefits and costs count. So is it everybody in the world? Probably not. If I'm implementing a program here in North Carolina, I'm probably not too concerned about citizens in Germany. So we're going to kind of define our area, define both geographical and who benefits and who does not benefit, and how they count. Third step, we're going to determine our program project outcomes. What are we hoping to gain, and how can we measure those gains? How can we measure those outcomes? And that goes into number 4. We're quantifying those outcomes, but we're also monetizing those outcomes. Our cost-benefit analysis is all about money. It's all about monetization. So any benefits we identify, potential benefits we identify, and potential costs we identify, we are going to monetize them and put a dollar sign on them. Fifth step, we're going to discount. We're going to go through our discounting step. We'll hit that in the second video here for this week. We'll go through discounting. Also goes into our sensitivity analysis. So we're going to have a base analysis in our cost-benefit analysis, and then we're going to play with the numbers a little bit. We're going to play with that discounting rate a little bit, and play with some other numbers a little bit, and see how drastically it moves, and see where our opportunities might lie, or our pitfalls might lie. A brief overview of cost-benefit analysis. So we're implementing a program or project, an intervention, and hopefully our goal is to improve social welfare. Our goal is to improve the well-being of those that we serve. So hopefully the benefits are greater than the costs in our program, and that's really what we are measuring, and that's what we are formulating over a number of years, whether it be a couple years, 3 years, 10 years. Are the benefits greater than the costs? Now, those benefits and costs, they might be direct, very easy to measure, just out there for us to pluck out and easily identify, or there might be indirect. So indirect benefits, indirect costs, and these indirect benefits and costs we're going to call externalities. What are externalities? Well, think of them as side effects. So medication side effects are kind of externalities. So this is something that affects a third party. So this third party did not choose to incur a cost or a benefit, but our activity is affecting this third party either in a positive way or a negative way. Couple quick examples of externalities, both positive and negative. A positive externality might be a CPR course or a CPR certification. So I am walking down the street. I have not gone through a CPR course. I have not participated in this. I have not paid the AHA or Red Cross for some CPR course. I am not CPR trained, but I fall victim of cardiac arrest, and someone who has tends to me and positively affects my outcome. So I have not chosen to participate in this activity, that being of a CPR course, but I'm gaining or reaping the benefits of CPR courses around me. Same thing with vaccinations, flu shots, etc. So there are positive externalities where I am still not choosing to participate and incur the cost of that CPR course, but I'm reaping the benefits. Negative externalities, think of air pollution. So let's say I drive an electric car. I've got a Tesla in the driveway. I'm not emitting any air pollution from my car, but I am still incurring the costs of air pollution from that person driving the vehicle, getting 5 miles per gallon, and spewing out huge amounts of air pollution. So I did not choose to purchase that polluting vehicle. I chose to purchase a cleaner vehicle, but I'm still feeling the effects of that air pollution. So externalities, I didn't choose to participate in that activity. I didn't choose to incur those costs, but the effects of that activity I'm still feeling. Now this all works into cost-benefit analysis because we have payers and we have recipients. Payers of costs, recipients of benefits, and so we're asking really who pays. Who pays directly, who pays indirectly through those externalities, who benefits directly and who benefits indirectly through those externalities. So who's paying and who is getting the benefits, and this really cost and benefits really depend on perspective. So we can argue that someone may incur a cost, and another can argue that that person would not incur a cost. So it's all about the argument, but this externalities, direct and indirect cost and benefits all work into our cost-benefit analysis. with that, sometimes costs and benefits are hard to quantify. Those indirect costs, those indirect benefits are really hard to nail down. It's kind of subject to perspective. Um, and then we run into issues in the medical field and the healthcare field where costs are abated, are not incurred because an illness is prevented. So it's hard to measure something that doesn't happen. So uh, there's another problem with cost benefit analysis in the realm of healthcare. Um, and then just the value of life, the value of better health really gets into our cost utility, which we'll talk about later. But cost benefit analysis really doesn't get into quality of life and quality of health. So, a quick example of a cost benefit analysis looking at college students and should they be vaccinated against meningitis. And we're looking at some a scenario where none of them are vaccinated and going to some sort or a level of 80% of college students are vaccinated. So there are some benefits, there are some costs. So we need to identify our benefits, our medical costs, cost per case, diverted. So this goes into our benefit. Uh, Cost per case that is diverted is about $8,000. So if a student doesn't would have, or let's say would have contracted, high probability of contracting meningitis, we divert that disease, that infection through vaccination. We're saving $8,000. And then some number of students will actually die from meningitis. And so, how many lives are we saving? And we'll just, for the time being, we'll stamp $1 million per life saved on that. So we've got some benefits, costs diverted. So benefits, we are not incurring $8,000 per case of infection, and then we're saving a number of lives, X number of lives at $1 million per life. On the cost side, we have to administer this vaccine. It's $30 per vaccine. Um, and we have a lot of college students. We're giving this to each freshman. So we have a lot of freshmen. We've got over 2 million freshmen at $30 a dose. That really adds up. So that's a cost. Another cost would be potential allergic reactions. And so we are estimating one severe allergic reaction per 100,000 students at a cost of $1,800 per case. Over 2.3 million students is considerable. So we've got benefits, and we've monetized those benefits. We've got costs. We've monetized those costs in terms of doses, price per dose, and potential adverse reactions, anaphylactic reactions. Over those 2.3 million students that we're giving this vaccination to. Now this is a real scenario. It's a little old from the 1990s, but still very applicable. I just want you to see the process here. We've got costs, we've got benefits. So we've got some cost of this vaccination program in millions of dollars. And then we've got benefits in millions of dollars, direct and indirect. And there's some difference. So we've got a baseline, and then baseline times 2, baseline times 15. It's these sensitivity analyses. So how many students do we really have to reach, and how many events, direct medical benefits are we changing? How many indirect value of lives saved are we changing? And that really changes the outcome. So in this baseline times 2, we have a negative cost benefit summation. So it's not the cost benefit is not effective. In the other case, it is effective. So there is a threshold where this program would be effective, and a threshold under which this program would not be effective. Now, well, hold on. You're probably thinking, well, how do I value a life? We just threw on a stamp of $1 million for per human life, but there are ways to value human life. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of uncomfortable to place a value on a human life, but if we're doing a cost-benefit analysis, we're going to have to monetize everything. So that includes monetizing uh, a human life. There are a few ways we can do this, and we can argue for and against every single one. Again, this is kind of uncomfortable, but a necessary task in cost-benefit analysis. One of the first methods is this human capital method, and this is just the value of someone's future income. How much are they earning? That directly relates to economic activity. So we can take their human capital and value their life. This places different values on different strata of socioeconomic status. The next is a willingness to pay. And so, we can just go and ask people. So, what are you willing to pay to avoid dying? What are you willing to avoid or willing to pay to avoid losing a leg, losing an arm? What are you willing to pay to avoid congestive heart failure? We can just ask them and find some sort of equilibrium, find some sort of number that they place on their own life. And then that contingent valuation kind of brings that willingness to pay to the next level. So we add risk into it and say, okay, well, you will, that what are you willing to pay under the willingness to pay? What are you willing to pay to avoid congestive heart failure? Under the contingent valuation, there's a certain amount of risk to developing congestive heart failure. So what are you willing to pay for different levels of risk? It's a 90% or an 80% or a 50% probability that you will develop congestive heart failure. What are you willing to pay to avoid those different probability, different risk levels? So another older study, but it really kind of gets to how widely variable all these valuations of a human life are. You can go everywhere from $700,000 per human life to over $10 million per human life, and then we can take those older numbers and adjust them for current dollars. There are studies that come out just about every year that try to estimate the value of a human life at the federal level, depending on the department that you go to. There are different valuations of human life. The Department of Health and Human Services will stamp a number that's vastly different from the EPA number. So it just really depends on where you go. So this is all in how you argue it. Now, depending on what you want to determine the value of a human life at. So that's your overview of cost-benefit analysis. We'll get into discounting and actually getting into the formulations next. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, cuss words, please let us know.